Hey everyone, we are live. We are here with a Friday night special edition MLB DFS Slate breakdown. I'm Jason O. You recognize me from the Tuesday night shows. I'm joined by Tribe, who you have seen multiple times during the NFL and MLB season, and we also have a special guest, Mike, aka the Sun Running God, who is off to just an amazing start this year. How we doing today, guys?
I'm good, man.
Doing good, doing good.
It's Friday, so
Yeah, it's Friday, and also too, I just got to say, Mike, you are the richest person I know without a webcam. Let's get you a webcam, please.
Yeah, everybody keeps yelling at me.
It's all right. It's all right. When you got your screenshots, I think you could kind of like tell everybody to screw off. So like it's okay. But all right. So we're gonna break down the slate, and it's a big slate. There's a lot of options. Our models have some really spicy takes tonight for sure. But I want to throw it to you first, Mike. What are you thinking tonight? And how are you going to be attacking your contest?
Well, I'm playing the 88, and I mean mainly playing the $13 qualifier. So some of my like 6 lineups are gonna be kind of geared toward really large field stuff. I like Cleveland. I like the Yankees. I'm not a big fan of the Dodgers because I don't think you need to attack Fried on a slate like this. Especially the Yankees bullpen's good. Diamondbacks are probably okay. Big fan of the Giants because Cal Quantrill's been sun running for Cal Quantrill the last couple starts.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably in somewhat. I know they're like kind of far down, but it's probably just because we have like 13 games. But I like the Cardinals too.
Yeah, I agree with about most of those too. I know we talked a little bit pre-slate about some of the spots that we think are a little sneaky. What about you, Tribe? What are you thinking for offenses tonight?
yeah. So I'm playing more small field stuff tonight. I'm honestly starting with the Blue Jays pretty much everywhere. But then with them, it's a lot of the same teams mentioned: Diamondbacks, Cleveland, Giants, Cardinals. My thing with the Yankees and the Dodgers, and I definitely like the Yankee side more in that game, but they're teams that are really centered around like one guy or a couple guys. Like with the Dodgers, like if Otani and Betts and Freeman don't go off, the team is not going off. Like it's very rare that you will see that. Same thing with the Yankees, not as much because there are some other guys that can hit. So Judge doesn't need to go full on nuclear for them to put up a bunch of runs. Um, but kind of a similar situation. But they're facing the worst pitching. Well, the worst pitcher in that game, right? I'd rather attack that side. My thoughts on Dodgers pitching staff as opposed to attacking uh, Fried on a slate this large.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I echo both of what you both said. Just there's no reason to attack Max Fried tonight, and honestly, I don't know how much of a need there really is to pay up at pitching unless you're going to like eat some ownership. And when I mean pay up, I mean go all the way up, and we'll dive into it a little bit deeper. But I think there's a lot of cheap options you can go with today that can get you the bats you want, and starting with just like pitching in general too. And I'll pull up the pitching tab here. Mike, where do you think you're going most in your contest? I know you mentioned the 88 and the qualifiers, so you're more of large field. What are your thoughts on pitching today?
In the expensive guys, well, I mean, I'll get Ortiz out of the way first. Like James said earlier in the chat that he's way underpriced, which 6K versus a guy with a 25% K rate to both sides of the plate against the Angels. He only really has problems with lefties, and I think they only have like Shonawell, and if you want to consider Rengifo a lefty, I think he's in today. So 2 lefties, and that's it. And but like I like the expensive guys. I'd probably stay away from Fried just because Dodgers. And then there's just better spots that are $1,000 less than him. Wu is fine. Fromber is always safe. I am not a big fan of David Peterson tonight just because of ownership and the projections don't like him really compared to the other guys. And also in the Sims, he's like the biggest person to avoid. Then just below them, it's Libertor, who's like the fan favorite of all of us.
Yep. I'm in full agreement too with that. I'm playing large field tonight. I think Wu is fine, and I think the matchup is actually a lot better than people maybe give it credit for. Like I think the 21% owned, that feels a little low to me still. I don't think he's going to come in higher than that, but he probably should be. Agree on Framber. I know people think Tampa Bay like really sucks against lefties, but lately they've actually been pretty solid over the last 2 weeks against lefties. So I agree he's safe. The upside I'm a little wary about. And Peterson, I want to know your thoughts on this because you're playing small field and Peterson's probably the first look like when most players are going to go to. But I do agree. I'm a Met fan too, and I'll tell you, I love David Peterson. He is not a 9K pitcher at any time. And Mike said it best pre-show. I think people are going to chase that Dodgers performance against Colorado. And but what are your thoughts too, Tribe? From a small field perspective.
From a small field perspective, I'm probably just eating the chalk on Peterson. Likely just starting with Wu, Peterson, some Blue Jays bats, and then moving on from there. I agree, though. Like anything 500 entries or more, Peterson's the first spot I'm getting off of. And I think going either Libertor or Bassett is like the easy pivot there. But yeah.
I like it. And when we go and look to just add our pitchers to today, when we sort by 2X, these are just the most valuable pitchers on the slate at their salaries and what their projections are. You got Luis Ortiz up there, too cheap, just play him. And Mike, to build on that point you were talking about with how bad this Angels lineup is today, they are starting Scott Kingery.
Hasn't played in a professional baseball game in the majors since 2021, I think it said.
Yep. I think he played for the Phillies too, and he was just he was dog water. He sucked.
He had like a couple stupid games where I think he had like 2 home runs, but
yeah, I think one of them was a double dong too, like a double dong game itself. Yeah, he that's a prime matchup today. We have Kyle Freeland going against the Mets. I'm not going to touch Kyle Freeland. I mean, at some point, 5K, if this was a good matchup, you got to consider him. And the Mets have been struggling, but I'm not touching him. This is one guy I want to get your guys' thoughts on. Kyle Harrison. Our projections love him here at 7,100. But when you look at Miami the last few weeks against left-handed pitching, they haven't been great, but they're like the lowest strikeout team in baseball. So what are your guys' thoughts on a guy like Kyle Harrison tonight at that low ownership?
I don't like his pitch count. I remember we were kind of on him, I think, the other day on his last start when it was like a small slate and we were just looking for value. And then he got taken out after 57 pitches against Washington. And I feel like if I'm just going to go that low, I would probably go somebody that's on the safer side in like a Matthews or go all the way down to Ortiz. I just don't feel the need to pick Harrison, especially with how Miami's been playing. And then like all the concerns of like workload and stuff like that. Like it's just not worth it.
That makes sense. And what about you, Tribe? I know small field, like he's not even a consideration for you today. But what are your takes on a guy like him at that ownership?
If we were more confident in his workload, I think he'd be a fine play. Multi-entry stuff, large field stuff for sure. If I'm going that low, even in small field stuff, if I'm like, I'm going to essentially punt a pitcher, I'm either going Matthews or Ortiz at that point, though. Echoing what Mike said, like there's just no reason to take that risk in small field stuff, especially. And with 13 games on the slate, like there's just other options. You don't need to bite the bullet and hope that, we get some miraculous outcome where he goes longer than he has the entire season.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. I mean, from a large field perspective today, and I'm only playing the lotto today. I'm throwing 30 in. Harrison, he's not going to make my pool. And if I am going to go that low, I'm just going to play Zebby Matthews today against Seattle. I mean, our sheets really like him. He's actually getting some talk up around the industry today. I've seen him mentioned on a few shows in a few different places. So, I'll be a little wary of that. But really, in large field for me today, it's a combination of Luis Ortiz, Chris Bassett, I'll play Zebby. I'm not touching Merrill Kelly with a 10-foot pole, even though he's been pretty good lately. Love Libator too, and Brian Wu. And if you really want to put like a dart throw out there for somebody who's really, really just off the wall, yeah, I don't even know if I'd even go anybody outside of that. That's probably where I'm going to land today.
How do you feel about Grant Matthews?
Grant Matthews?
Yep. Or Grant Holmes.
Okay. I was like, Grant Holmes. Oh, that's funny. So he's a guy, man, that like I don't trust him, but Boston has been like really, really bad lately. But I feel like they have a lineup that can give him a lot of problems. Like I think these lefties like Wilder Abreu and Devers, Duran, like I think these guys can give him a lot of issues. But he has shown upside, right? Like, and he can rack up some strikeouts. But what do you guys think about him?
I just think after the front three, they're terrible. Like, I know Myers.
I was actually going to mention him too. Like, if you need somebody like to just as a large field, like I'm just going to play this guy and hope for the best. Because once you get past like Duran, Abreu, and Devers, like the rest of the team is cheeks.
Like Narvaez is just on this like god tier luck run of hitting. That guy's like not good. He was like, and all he did that for was like 2 weeks, and then Alex Cora was like, oh my god, this guy's our cleanup hitter or a 3-hitter. It's like I don't get it. Like I think Myers just like a regular hit guy, not like anything for power, so he's not really a thing. Christian Campbell forgot how to play baseball after the first 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah, and Abraham Toro just goes.
Yeah, it's Abraham Toro.
He goes from team to team.
Stories.
You know what it is with him though, with Grant Holmes. If this were a smaller slate, like if this were one of those slates where you're looking like, you know what, if I can get like 17, 18 from my pitchers, like I'm good. Like I would be more into it, but with this many games and the options we have, like you're gonna need not like a 30-point ceiling outcome from your pitcher, but you're gonna need like the 20+ outcomes. And so
most likely.
There's just other spots that I think are just better suited to getting that for me than going there.
Yeah, and I also think too, you could just pay a few $100s more and go to Kelly, Bassett, Libator, or you could even go down to I mean, this is a big step down, but you just go down to Zebby Matthews, who has a much better projection too, right? And that changes the whole dynamic of your lineup. But yeah, and I also think he's just awkwardly priced for this slate too, with where we want to go with the value. So now, I don't know. Maybe he'll make one or two of my 30 just in case. Mike, you bring up a really good point. The rest of that lineup is not good. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. Going towards offenses now. I know we gave a little bit of a look ahead before, and I'm just gonna rerun these and just see if we have any changes. So obviously, the top of our sheets, we have the Dodgers today. I'm personally not touching the Dodgers today. I have a feeling you both aren't either, even though the A+ runs is pretty high. They also the most expensive team on the slate, and also Max Fried is good. And that bullpen for New York has been very, very stout. So where are you guys going today? And Mike, from a large field perspective, more in depth too, what combos you looking at, what teams you want to target?
I mean, I guess I'll get my like psychopath large field thing out of the way now. And that would be to play like the Rockies. They're all dirt cheap.
Look at Tribe smiling
because they're on the road. I don't know if the Sims say that he has like Peterson's so negative, then like, is that not what we're supposed to do? We're not supposed to attack that guy in large field.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't see.
I know the Mets bullpen behind him is like not going to give anything up. That's why I might only go to a 3-man with like Doyle, Tovar, and like Beck, Goodman, one of those other three, like one of the other guys.
I will say this Mets staff has been giving up some production too, and I know the White Sox have been better as of late, but their bullpen has given up a little bit, over the last, I'd say 1 or 2 series. So I do agree that full stack is probably out of the question, but I do like a mini. Like even if you went with like a Goodman, Estrada, Tovar, or even like a Beck, Estrada, Goodman, something like that. I just think, 2K Tyro Estrada, Tovar 3,400, Hunter Goodman for like when he gets a hold of a baseball, like they're just too cheap.
Yo, that guy has no walks against left-handed pitching like the entire year.
Yeah, he just swings at everything, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't know if I'm going to pick him. I'm kind of more like Tovar, Doyle, Beck, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if he does swing at everything, though, if he makes contact, it can go out. But where else are you thinking too for bats?
I really like the Yankees. I think we, as a whole product, have attacked Gonsolin our whole lives, and it never works. But he's been giving up a lot. He's been giving up a decent amount of runs. No like home runs really, but now he gets to face the Yankees in Dodger Stadium with the wind blowing out. So seems pretty good for the Yanks. I like the Diamondbacks a lot. Jake Irvin's randomly been good like his last 2 starts, but that's not really him.
30 burger against San Francisco. That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
And then I like Cleveland too. Soriano has trouble with Cleveland, especially J-Ram himself. I know that we're not big on that, but he's cooked them.
Yeah, he had that was a really bad game he had against them, and that was in LA.
That was my first seat.
Yeah,
when J-Ram hit the 3 homers. So
yeah, I remember that too.
No, not at all. But like Soriano's just like he has a lot of walks. Like him and Kikuchi, they like lead the league in walks. They're on the same team. But he walks a lot of people. That's not good for when you face Cleveland. They don't strike out a lot. At least the normal people that they've had for the last few years. Obviously Nolan Jones swings at everything. But yeah, like Quan, J-Ram. I'd probably go with them more as like a mini. But I like at least the front side of it.
Yeah.
And then the Diamondbacks as a whole should probably beat up on Washington. So
yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm really, really glad you said Cleveland. They're a team that I've been tinkering with a lot. Just with a guy like Soriano too. Like he stinks against this lineup, and we saw it already once this year. But the one thing that I really do like about this matchup is that they don't strike out and they get that horrible bullpen behind him, man. Like if it gets past him and it gets ugly quickly, I think one of 2 things can happen. I think one, they'll leave Soriano in because they leave him in a lot when he gets beat up too. Like he'll give up hits and runs. He'll still throw 5-6 innings. Then you get that bullpen behind him. And secondly, I there's a lot of power in this lineup for a low cost. Like Schneemann, Bo Naylor, Manzardo. Like I'm not saying these guys are like world beaters, but these are guys that have some really good expected slugging numbers and ISO numbers. I kind of like that idea of getting them cheap today. But Mike, wasn't there one other offense you were really targeting that you?
Oh, the Cardinals.
Oh, there was one besides that too. You said pretty sure.
The Giants, because Cal Quantrill's been. Yeah, I mean they're similar to like Cleveland. Like the pitchers, well, the pitcher's worse in this case, but their bullpen's also not good. So I know it's like a park downgrade kind of for hitting, but Miami's bad enough that they give up a bunch of runs at home too. So
that makes sense. And what about you, Tribe, from a small field perspective too? Where are you going to go with your bats today? What combinations are you trying to get in?
Yeah, so I'm eating chalk with Toronto. I'm eating chalk with Woo. So I'm gonna need to get different somewhere. So I like a team like Cleveland. I like them as a mini stack, pairing them with Toronto. Particularly J-Rant, like Toronto's third. I don't know who the hell they have third base. Their third baseman sucks. I don't want to play whoever that is. So like it
Barger?
fits.
Barger low-key been good.
I'm not playing him over J-Ram. I don't care.
Oh yeah, no, obviously not.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Like
that makes sense.
And you don't have to force it. Like the pricing is there. Like I can get good pitching comfortably and still be able to fit him in a Cleveland mini. So I don't mind that. St. Louis Arenado kind of sucks though. I'm not even gonna lie, he kind of fell off. But I like the Cardinals. I do like that spot for them. San Francisco, I don't know if I buy this ownership on San Francisco. They also fit with them really well. Like if I do that, I almost certainly have to jump off of Peterson and grab somebody lower like Libertor or something. But
Well, I think San Francisco is going to pull off, and I think most of San Francisco's is going to go to Toronto. I think a lot is going to go to Toronto just because they scored a million runs.
well,
yesterday.
yeah, that recency bias is always
Yeah.
crazy.
And also that park in Miami too. It's been a lot better for offense this year than people want to give it credit for, but people still have the notion that it's a major pitcher's park too.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. And also San Francisco has been pedestrian, right? Like at the times they're supposed to do well, they haven't. So
Right.
I don't know. But I agree with everything you guys said. One team I wanted to point out, and Mike, I don't know, maybe you softened on them or what, but one team that I wanted to point out that the sheets don't really like that I like, and Mike likes. I mean, maybe Mike has changed, but I actually don't mind the Tigers today at all.
I was waiting for you to go into. I was waiting for you to lead with things you disagree on.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so I'll start there, and then Mike, I want to get your take on this, and obviously Tribe too. But Detroit, me and Mike were talking pre-show, and they just like the park here is not great for home run upside, but for gap hitting and extra base hits, it's like one of the best in the entire league. And I believe the wind is blowing out there today. And this is a team who has won a lot of people a lot of money this year. They've been down a little bit, and I'm pretty sure our true average splits have him not. Yeah, Seth Lugo. I'll show everybody right here in our true average sheets. Seth Lugo, very high true average to both sides of the plate. That's not good. We don't like that at all if you're going to target him, and use him today. And also, he should have been given up. He's given up a pretty big slugging number. He should have given up more home runs in this sample. So I do like Detroit. I do like the price on them too. I think they're a little cheaper than you probably would expect them to be in a matchup that's this good. But Mike, go ahead. What are you thinking?
Yeah, they've been down like in terms of DFS, but they have the best record in the league.
Yep.
I know there's like pinch hit risk and all this other nonsense, but that's only with like certain guys. Carries really only pinch hit for if they're in like a oh my god, we need a righty versus lefty type spot. But that's like kind of rare. And then if they're already winning, they don't do it anyway. So the Royals bullpen is not the greatest behind the Lugo, and I'm just confused about the same thing with like Lugo showing up so poorly in the true average sheet. And then even in the rest of the research sheets, he has like X slugging to lefties of like 560 or something like that. And like a lot of the lineup hits the ball hard. There's a lot of gaps that they can get into. They have some speed, so they can turn those into doubles and James's favorite triples. Yeah, I mean, I just like them as a whole. I kind of like a little bit of both sides in that game, just because like Mize doesn't rate out very well in the research sheet either.
I mean, it makes sense, especially because, they don't strike out at all either, KC.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. And the one thing I wanted to point out, especially too, because he's struggling with lefties and Lugo, I just have this vision, Mike, of like Zach McKinstry, Trey Sweeney, just like Kerry Carpenter, like back to back to back, like double, triple, like 2 times through the order. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's something I think can. What are your thoughts, Tribe?
I like them as they're cheap too. They got like some value guys that I don't mind at all. Particularly because they're going to be nice pivots off of some of the chalkier value options. Like I know like Ernie Clement is going to be chalk and is cheap. Vientos from the Mets is right. So, throwing in some of those Tigers bets is I like it.
I like it too. Another offense that actually, I want to know both you guys actually. What offenses do you like that maybe the sheets don't? Outside of Detroit, I mean.
The A's lefties.
Oh, against Chris Bassett, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's a good call. He still struggles with lefties. We saw what Tampa Bay just did to them, so that makes sense. Tribe, you have another offense that maybe you like more than the sheets today?
I mean, it's like the sheets are like kind of like so on them. And that's Seattle. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm biased now. Oh, I like their team colors and jerseys and whatnot, but I
Although
don't like
Seattle's up
if
there
we're
today.
really. Yeah, they're
Not
like
great,
middle of the
but-
pack. They're middle of the pack though, and they're like I don't think they're gonna get much ownership to be honest on this slate. So it's like one of those teams where it's like I wouldn't mind putting them ahead of some of these chalkier teams. Like I wouldn't mind taking them over like the Diamondbacks or something, especially like in large field for sure. Especially if the Matthews kid is getting talked up and we think his ownership is going to spike a little bit. I don't mind taking some shots there.
Yeah, I agree with that. My last team I'll give out, and the only reason why is because we've used this team in similar matchups, and now that it's 11 gamer, people aren't going to do it, and they are relatively cheap still. Houston Astros, they're a team that I'm going to call out. Just because when you look at, Pepio, you want to call him Pupio, whatever the fuck you want to call him, he has not been great, and you look here too, third on the slate, X slugging to right-handed hitters, low K rate, high true average, expected home runs of 3, like not, nothing to write home about. That Tampa Bay bullpen, it's really not that great. I mean, when we go look at, actually, they've been a little bit better, but looking at our bullpen sheets, they're basically middle of the pack here. Kind of like, I guess the better half, if you want to say that. But they are giving up they're putting people on base, so I do like that too. I just think this is a spot where you can get an offense that's really cheap, that has good splits going right now. And also too, this guy struggles with righties, and they're going to throw like 7 or 8 at him tonight. Actually, looking now, they have no lefties in the lineup. They're throwing 9 right-handed hitters at him today.
Yeah, they don't have any because Jordan's hurt.
I mean, yeah, I thought they were going to play
like
some
Caratini. It's like Caratini is the switch hitter, and that's it. Everybody else on the team's right hand.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
It's very gross. And the other thing I like about them too is that you could just like stack the entire infield and then go get a really high priced outfield if you want to. So I just want to throw them out there for large field. Don't play them in anything Tribe is playing in, like anything 500 people. I'd say even like 1,000 people or less, I probably wouldn't touch them. But anything bigger than that, I'm a fan. But all right, you guys want to go take a look at Sims really quick? You want to take questions, or what are we thinking?
Only other thing I like that sheets don't like is the Braves, even though they're going to have ownership, but that's fine.
I'm with you on Braves. Yeah.
Because they already cooked Giolito. That guy's not good, and their offense is.
I'm old enough to remember when people were calling him an ace.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times, right? When they were calling that guy an ace.
Yeah, I miss when that guy was 30% owned, and I could just go, "Oh, I know who I'm picking today."
Yeah, those in fact were the days. Those are the days. All right, you know what? Actually, we'll go take a look at contest simulations really, really quick, just to see what they're showing in both. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to run them for large field above average, so we could just really take a look at maybe the stuff that Mike's playing and some of the stuff I'm playing. I'm putting it at above average too. I get that the price point doesn't dictate that, but for like for the Q and the Lotto tonight. But I think if you have big players who can max those, like you should still consider it pretty sharp. So just ran that. So we go take a look at starting pitchers here. Yep, Luis Ortiz, highest exposed, followed by Chris Bassett. Kyle Harrison, I don't really agree with that, but I guess because the small sample, and honestly, if he was going to go 75 plus pitches, I'd probably roll the dice, but I don't trust it. Liberatore, Merrill Kelly, and then we sort by edge. The highest edge in the Sims goes to Luis Ortiz, Kyle Harrison, Chris Bassett, and Liberatore in that format. Lowest edge, David Peterson. So Mike, yep, exactly what you were saying. Pavetta, and Framber Valdez. So basically tonight, if you're building large field, you really should not be paying up more than $9,000 for pitching today. You should not go above that mark. In terms of offenses, we like Toronto a lot. We like New York. That's no surprise. San Francisco. Padres here. That's a little interesting because I think that their park is absolutely terrible. And I don't think Mitch Keller is like a world beater, but I don't think he's like a complete gas can.
He's not trash. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But yeah, we also have the Mets there against Kyle Freeland. While I run small field stuff, are we like overthinking it by not just playing the Mets today against Kyle Freeland?
I'm playing the Mets in small field. I fully expect to be playing the Mets later on tonight, but there's a lineup with them.
Freeland has just been so damage limiting.
Yeah, he just doesn't get blown up. Yeah,
kind of, especially on the road.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, he did just get beat up against the Yankees, but that's also
I mean that doesn't count. Anybody that gets like beat up by the Yankees, I just like don't count. Yankees, Dodgers, I don't count. Everybody else is probably like fair game.
Yeah, he's had some good outings on the road, and yeah, he kind of reminds me of like and I'm not calling him this pitcher, but he kind of reminds me of like Miles Michaelis a few years ago, where like he doesn't K a lot of people, but he frustrates you and just gives up like 2 earned on like 5 hits and 3 Ks and just gets a bunch of ground balls.
Yeah.
So
the Yankees was in course too, so
yeah, that definitely don't count. Get out of
here. Oh yeah,
and
never mind.
4 of those runs were unearned.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, and then
he gave up 1 to the Phillies in course.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I know this guy's Sick Hemi at our Discord, all in on Mets. Let's fucking go. Yep. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, the Mets are fine, but like
just too expensive, man. And like to me, they're almost like the Red Sox, where like once you get past the top like 4, they have just such a major drop off.
Whoa! Brett Beatty needs. Oh, Brett Beatty's not in the lineup. Never mind.
That's why I said that. Trust me, I spot checked myself today. I promise you, I spot checked myself before that. No way.
Once you get past like Nimmo, I mean, even Vientos has like been off this year, and Soto is
Soto out here just robbing them.
Soto is just 5,200 for a 4 in your lineup because he walked and scored on Pete's home run.
Yeah, and you know what too, Mike? It's because the Yankees only have that guy Judge, right? He's their only player.
Yeah, the only player on the team, according to some people that are fans of teams of blue and white.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good look at the slate for what we're going to be targeting tonight. We got some questions here. We'll go through that. Need all the help I can right now. DFS MLB, brother. I need all the help I can too. Do you see my face compared to Tribes? Like, I get it, man. It's all right. Use Jeremy's Core 8 for baseball. Just DM him in Discord. I can't afford that Core 8, so we will not be doing that.
Jeremy loves 1v1s, by the way.
Yes, he does. Yes, he definitely does. And don't worry, maybe you can get him to drop that round 4 showdown article if you beg enough. So, I've 1550 for 3 outfielders and a shortstop. If you can help me out, I would appreciate it. I mean, that's kind of a loaded question, just because like the pricing doesn't really dictate the the ownership that much.
It sounds like you would probably be picking the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I'd
probably 5K for Perdomo.
Probably the Diamondbacks. Maybe if you want, you could probably get like Bichette and 2 Yankees too. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's probably what I'd say.
Probably Giants there too.
Oh yeah, Giants too. Giants. Yeah.
Can you play Ortiz in small? You should be playing Ortiz in small field. Like he projected as chalk, and I just ran optimals with some other projections around the industry, and they are pumping Brian Wu and Luis Ortiz.
Yep, I think he's definitely a good play.
Yeah.
Wu and Liberatore, is that okay for large field? Yeah, I Liberatore price considered is like top. I can't really say that he's the top because of Zebi and Luis Ortiz, but this Texas lineup, and it's not great. Like I get to get Seager back, but I want to show you guys something that's pretty crazy before we get out of here. This is Texas the last 2 weeks against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, one of those games against Ryan Yarbrough.
Yep. 37% strikeout rate, and they got a decent amount of plate appearances, 25% WRC plus. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Was that 5% walks? Yeah.
Yeah, 5%. 5% walk rate. They have a WRC of 3.
It's not like they've been playing against like Crochet or anybody like that either. They played against Yarbrough. I think they got one of the free starts, so that one's fine. But like Ryan Yarbrough.
Yeah.
He like six. I think she's what 6 innings, 1 earned, and like 8 Ks that game or something like that.
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Would you try Wu and Ortiz? That's totally fine. You can make that work.
Ortiz and like not Peterson is fine. And if you pick both of them, you have to pick something else that's like one of your stacks has to be ridiculous if you're playing.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Good shout on the Braves. Thanks, Tyler. I was hoping for some backup and targeting them. No, I think that's a pretty good breakdown today. Want to wish everybody luck. I want to thank Mike and Tribe for joining us as well. We got about 26 minutes to lock, so let's go build some winners. And I can't wait to see all the screenshots in the Discord later. And thanks for joining, guys.
Yep. Good luck, everybody.
Best of luck.
Peace.
Peace.